Hello everyone and welcome back to another State of the Game with Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. The last week has been filled with a lot of time spent with my children. I always take the first week of the year off so I could spend time with them, and as soon as they go back to school, it's time for me to start putting things back together again, which is why you got a few videos last week. This week, I'm going to put things back to normal. I'm going to start shooting my Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous news show on Tuesdays again and releasing them on Wednesdays. Doing the State of the Game either on a Monday afternoon or a Monday night and releasing on a Tuesday. And then doing the show with Ben sometime on Wednesday or Thursday and then released either on Thursday or Friday. The last part of my week is always ended on Friday night as I join the girls of Ladies of the Round Table for a live show that airs every week around 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And that you can find on Twitch. So that's what my weeks have been. Of course there's other videos I throw in there. I have a lot of videos that I put in to this particular channel that are not just Star Citizen. Of course I have Let's Plays of a lot of the other games that I have been interested in, like World of Tanks, War Thunder, Elite Dangerous, and there'll be many more over the coming months, I should say. So what is going on here in front of us right now is that I decided I was going to go and do something that I'm not really too happy with, and that's go into the PvP arena in Arena Commander and try to hold my own. Now the problem I have with this is that it always seems buggy to me, and it's just a bunch of people that fire missiles at each other, and there really isn't much more tactics going on. And then that happens, where I get that crash all the time. I'm not trying to pick the game apart or say it's not working. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of this is due to my skill, and I am very excited about this being a skill-based game. But I'm also not the person that likes arena-type matches where it's like a battle royale. I like things that are more tactical in nature, more the person that thinks it through more wins. And some of those things are like, I'll give you a for instance. In the last 2 weeks, I've been battling my way through War Thunder to try to collect two rare, I guess you call them vehicles at this point. One was a tank and one was an aircraft. And to do so, I had to battle my way through different tasks, shooting down 30 planes or killing 40 tanks in different planes and vehicles. And there were a lot of them. I unlocked the tank pretty fast because I take the tanks like white on rice, I guess, and I'm a pilot, but I like the tactics that are involved with it. The finding a place to hide, always having to make sure that your armor is not... you're not showing the weak spots of your armor to your adversary, and that you're hitting them in the right place, not just anywhere, but the right place. So I find that a little bit easy for me to do, and I got through the tanks very quickly. But almost as fast, I found out that I really am not a very good pilot. At least I wasn't at the beginning of that 2-week period. I was making lots of stupid mistakes, focusing on one aircraft, not seeing who was behind me, not managing my energy, getting into turn fights with a boom and zoom fighter, you know, those type of things. Well, after a while, I started to get the hang of it, and I started to rack up the kills because I started to learn the strategy and the tactics inside of the aircraft in War Thunder. But in this game, it seems like without atmosphere, there is more of a limitation on the things that you do. Things like that, where people just fly at you. I think this is one of the people's tactics, is that they hit you while the person on their team comes by and knocks you out when you're blacked out from the hit. It's a good tactic, but obviously it's kind of a griefing tactic, right? I haven't been able to figure out what works in this game yet. Yeah, that was another one of those crashes. I just cut it off a little bit sooner. So I need to spend some time inside of Arena Commander taking my licks and sucking at it for a while before I actually figure out how to play this game. Now, it is obvious that if I have missiles, all I do is lock on, kill, lock on, kill. That's what people were doing in this game. Everybody seemed to be dying to missiles in a few of the games that I was playing. There was none of this chasing people down. Now, there is something I can tell you that didn't air on last week's Five for the Chairman. Five for the Community Manager, the show I do with Ben every Wednesday or Thursday night and release on Thursday or Friday. They are going to be updating the Arena Commander lobby system, so when you do get a match, you are matched evenly with the type of ship that the opponent might have. So, I mean, classes of ships. So you wouldn't get this Mustang Delta going in with heavy fighters. You'd pretty much have possibly like Gladiuses and Scythes when they're available, and Hornets in one group, and maybe Gladiators. I'm not sure about that. Gladiuses and Gladiators. You might have the Aurora LNs and the Mustang Betas or Alphas in another. You might have the 325As and the Mustang Deltas and the Avengers crossing over between the two of them. It's just, they're going to start doing class-based matchmaking. And as the leaderboards get updated, which they've been updated already, and they get used and flushed out, they're probably going to start doing it based on player skill too. Now, I'm not sure if I like that part of it, but every kind of PvP game has this leaderboard system and this ladder that you progress up, whether it's StarCraft or any of the League of Legends, any of the player versus player type arena games. I just find that I'm outclassed by a lot of people that have spent much of their time in this game. Now, as much as I love dogfighting, this was never Ooh, why am I shooting at my own person? I guess I figured that out real fast. That was just stupidity on my part. I must have gotten into a squadron battle not knowing it. So, I've never been a big fan of these arena type games, and the reason being is because you get somebody that's really good that's in the game all the time, and you get a bunch of people that aren't very good. Here, evaded that missile, and that leads to people racking up lots of kills, and you're getting on teams sometimes that just suck. In this situation here, I guess he is decoupled, I guess. In this situation here, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. One hit kills almost every time, but I think I got hit by a missile there. I'm almost sure of it. Alright, so maybe I'm whining. Maybe I'm being a baby about this. Maybe I'm not seeing through the right set of glasses into what Arena Commander is actually supposed to be here to do, which is to test the game and to give us the expertise, the knowledge, the experience, so when the game goes live, we're all ready and set. So if I don't like this, what does draw me to Star Citizen? Well, the combat does, but there's also a lot of other things that are drawing me into it. The open world aspect of it, being able to be a trader, being able to be so many different things in the game. And I am very much looking forward to a lot of that. I think this is my first kill. I just launched 2 missiles at him and I get a kill. So I am looking forward to other aspects of the game. Why then am I an Arena Commander right now? Well, because I need to get better, because I want to earn the respect of the people that watch this show, and I want to be able to use the spacecraft that I'm going to be flying in the future. So Ben and I got together last week for a long overdue 5 for the CM. And we asked him a lot more than 5 questions. However, at some point in my interview, I think it was around 15 minutes, I stopped recording. Oh, look at that. I was starting to rack up the kills and it just crashed again. So it stopped recording and then it started recording again on its own. It's never happened to me before. But what was going on that day is that we were getting a lot of surges inside of my neighborhood. And as soon as Ben and I finished our conversation, the game crashed. Not the game, I just said the game crashed because it did before. The power went out, and I pretty much lost about 6 minutes of the interview with Ben. In that 6-minute time, Ben was talking about, well, first and foremost was about weapons and how weapons are going to be totally changing over the next I think it's the next 2 patches. How no more are you going to have those class and size restrictions. Weapons are now going to be restricted to the type of pylon, or I forget what he called it, but I'm going to call it a pylon, that you could put on your craft. So if you could put a pylon on your craft, then you could fit any weapons that are associated with that pylon. It kind of sounds the same, but it's not. It actually makes things a lot easier for them. So they could design pylons that are for missiles, for guns, and for gimbal-mounted guns. And then they can design the weapons that go on them. And then they could say, this hard point on this ship is limited to these type of pylons. Again, it does sound a little bit the same, but when you open it up, it is kind of different. I'm excited about that part because it means that if you could put the pylon on your ship, I could actually mount a Van Duel neutron gun on one of my ships, which you know how hard they hit. If you've ever flown in a straight line for a while and had a Van Duel scythe on your tail, and all of a sudden half your health is gone, or I don't mean half your health, half your ship is gone, that was the Van Duel neutron gun connecting with you and destroying half your ship. So that's a pretty impressive and pretty, I think that's a pretty exciting thing. Oh, by the way, this is footage from an Aurora LX video that I'm doing, and I just, I'm getting this new affection for the different hangars. And this is the Southland hangar, and I'll get into that more inside of this particular review that I did. But the Southland hangar, to me right now, actually, is becoming, little by little, my favorite hangar. I just wish it had, well, we'll see what happens when the room system goes live with this hangar. Alright, so the weapons are a little bit more so going through a revamp. And I know that a lot of the weapons are having their damage and their cooling and their rate of fires increase, decrease, altered as we give feedback and as they see different things from the data they collect from our battles. So be excited about that. Be very excited about that. I guess I'll hold off on going over this month's latest monthly report from Chris Roberts and team, and I'll hold off for that until the next SCAA, so I have at least something to talk about. But I can say this, I am very excited about a couple of things. Right now, Harvey, Charlie, Chuck, Curly, whatever you want to call him, the guy that we've been using for the last year and a half, is actually getting revamped yet again. He's got a new skeleton, which you can see him walking, and they're fixing the animations now, making them a little bit more fluid with this new skeleton system. They've come up with a new character generation idea, and they're going to be working on that. And they're actually getting a little bit closer to having working female models, but they're probably going to hold off on that until all of the systems are done, so we don't get a broken female character like we have a broken male character right now, so we get everything all together. I definitely do support that, but I can't wait to see what they come up with, because there's just some scenes, like you'll see in a couple of seconds when I do the interior view here, how awesome this model looks just sitting in the ship. So over the next 6 days, we could expect to have a short update from them to correct some of the issues. The main issues that were happening on the server side are corrected. And these are things that in an alpha I expect and I can forgive. I don't get upset like other people do when they release things like that because we are in alpha. But I did read a lot of people very upset about the release of this version of Arena Commander. And all I have to say to y'all is, I understand, believe me, you've spent money. Some of us have spent thousands of dollars. But you spent money on this product. And you expect that that money, as bought a product that's finished, and it's not. But the company is going to learn a lot of things through trial and error. I mean, this is the CryEngine for Pete's sake. It's built upon a first-person shooter. That's what this engine was made for. And what they're doing to alter it is just phenomenal, to make it into this FPS, into this dogfighting, into this space trading, into this open world game. And, in Far Cry 4, I can tell you this: if they can deliver on this product 1/5 of what they promise, it's going to be a stellar game. All right, so I don't want to talk your ears off. I guess there's not a lot more to talk about except for we hit 2,000. Thank you very much. And I am almost done with the spreadsheet. Oh my Lord, were there a lot of entries for this one. I cannot even tell you how many emails that I've had to go through. And I am contacting every single one of you that has an email that I don't understand or doesn't have an actual name inside of it. It's going to take me probably the better part of a day to figure this all out, and I've been spending time on it each day, so it's coming, I promise you. But for the meantime, the next contest is on hold until I talk to Ben. I need to see which one of the things I can afford, and so far the leading candidate is to do smaller packages and do a medium size to not as large as we've done with the Redeemer, but to do a large size product or ship or something at the end. And I'm kind of thinking about seeing if he'll do starter packages like Mustang Alphas or the Aurora MRs for people that are going to be winning for each 100. Somebody said that I should do one every week. I don't think so. But I am going to give away packages every 100. I think that's what we're going to do. That's probably going to start with the 2,100 mark and above. So the actual first package giveaway will probably be at 2,200 unless I could shore up this current contest within the next couple of days, because you guys really are coming to the channel in a big way over the last week. I've gained over 100 people in the last week, and that's pretty decent. Alright, I guess that's it. I've got to save some of this for Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous, which I have to go and get ready and shoot in the next couple of moments. And all I want to do is say this. I want to thank each and every one of you that listen to this show, that give me the feedback that I need to get better, that give me the feedback that I need to be able to create a better show, and that like and are so loyal, I guess, or consistent in their viewing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.